Hello, good afternoon, and a warm welcome to all of you that are joining us live via this live broadcast of today's show, The Community Lens. And we sure hope that you've been doing all that it takes to keep safe and clear of COVID-19. I know this is not going to be something that should irritate you. You should obviously get used to it by now. The fact that COVID-19 is here and somewhat is here to stay. And so we just have to make sure that we keep safe and clear of it by taking precautions, the necessary precautions that have been administered by the Ministry of Health, and just ensure that we follow through with quite a number of things that we have lined up on the show for you today. A lot of pertinent issues, especially to motorists out there, and even to those of you that are pedestrians still. It's something that is a bother to you when there's a fuel shortage in the country. We do know that the fuel price does somewhat have a direct effect on commodity prices, and so it's really, really important that this particular commodity is in the country, and that so many other things are facilitated by the transport sector. It's really unfortunate that we're going through that, but this is something that we'll be discussing a little later as well. Also, just on the lines of financial literacy, we did commemorate just a few weeks ago, the Financial Literacy Week in Zambia and across the globe as well. But we'll be getting into a bit of a talk about how you can manage your finances, and also just stay away from people that are trying to scam you or trying to steal your monies via the use of social media and the internet as well. We'll be getting into talks about that a little later. My name is Landilani Banda, and joining me today, as per usual, is my co-host for the show, Mainga. Mainga, how was your weekend?
Oh, my weekend was great, though it was. I think it was cut short. I felt like it should have.
It should have lasted a little longer than it did.
At least maybe like 4 or 5 days more. Maybe I would have enjoyed, but staying at home, you become lazy and you start fighting with the wives, and so it's important that you get back to work and start running.
Excellent. Yeah. But I think staying at home during this period was something that was somewhat fortunate for those people that decided to stay at home, because movement really was restricted during the course of this week, with the fuel shortage just completely limiting movement in a sense.
Well, yeah, you can say it in that sense, but there are people who still want to have adventure, who want to travel, go out of town, to go to Kafue, Siavonga, to just try and have a feeling of nature and explore new ways of life. So I think it was an inconvenience for people who love traveling, but for those that have been busy mostly, this was a time for them to blend and bond with their families and children, to be specific.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of the fuel situation, I mean, it's directly tied to the economy itself, and just how we're able to run this country properly and manage our resources. A little later, we'll be joined by qualified and really specialized people in as far as the world of economics is concerned. Could you read us through what is to be expected?
Well, I think we'll get some expert analysis on probably what the country should do going forward, because I think the issue of fuel security in the country is an important issue. As you know, fuel is a key commodity it's a key input in the running of services like transport, and with load shedding still being there, other people are relying on the same fuel to actually do the welding, to do other entrepreneurial businesses, so entrepreneurial ventures. So I feel what will be digested today will be of a great value, and hope government officials will be able to see what will be discussed and put it into use.
Definitely, because I mean, this is a problem that is not new to us. It's something that we have faced for quite a long time. It's a resurgent thing.
Especially in the past,
exactly.
6 months, or let me say 1 year to 1 year, 6 months, we have seen a lot of shortages across the country. We've seen only big buses like the Majandus, the Shaloms have been able to move, but when it comes to to smaller buses, commuters that commute within towns, it has been very difficult and worse for motorists. People rely on this commodity to move from their homes to their workplaces. So it's something that has been trending and affecting a lot of people, and hope it can come to an end.
Definitely. I mean, as most other problems as well, the issues to do with load shedding, for example, which we can't even make mention of.
Yeah, it's become a broken record. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
It tires you out to have some of these discussions. But these are things, again, that with the right modalities put in place would be quashed ultimately.
Yeah, if you look at other countries, they're managing to to do away with they have, if it's load shedding, probably it's minimal, but we in Zambia, we are still going through this situation, and it is everyone's hope that this problem can be rectified, because I can remember back then we never used to have load shedding, but again, you have to understand
Back
the
then
doings
is how
of
long
Mother
ago?
Nature.
Just for clarity's sake, back then is exactly
Maybe
how
like 10 or 8 to 10 years. So
exactly.
we used to have 24/7 supply of power, but with the effects of climate change, you can understand those are the doings of Mother Nature. So we can't really put the blame on government, but with proper mechanisms and plans, I think we can have zero load shedding.
Most definitely. And just like we made mention of earlier, we did get to say that we have guests on today's show that are specialized in the areas of economics. Joining us at this particular point in time is Mr. Mundia Hagula, who's from the Continental Leadership Research Institute. And with him, we're discussing the fuel crises that we seemingly had within the course of last week. And I hear that within other parts of the country, it even went for as long as 2 weeks. So 2 weeks ago, this crisis had hit the nation, in the southern region especially. And it was really unfortunate to get to see that for certain people that had emergencies, they couldn't get to attend to them due to the fact that there was this crisis taking place and taking root in the country.
Yeah, it is actually very sad, that happened, and going forward, I think there is need to have sustainable ways of ensuring that this commodity is available almost every time. If there is a shortage, probably it has to just be maybe like a day or just a few hours. So yeah, I think there is need to look into that.
Right. Well, Mr. Mhaula is actually on the line. He's standing by, but we would love to know as well what your views as well as your concerns are. Do reach us via our social media platforms. Remember that we are Mozo TV on Facebook, Mozo TV Africa for both Twitter as well as Instagram. Would like to get your thoughts on the crisis in terms of fuel that's been somewhat a bit of a disturbance for quite a number of motorists and even pedestrians out there within the various parts of the bigger nation of Zambia. So we'd like to hear from you. What are your thoughts as concerns that? Also, if there's anything else that's transpiring in your various communities, do reach out to us. Our hotline is currently scrolling on your screens. You can call in a little later when we do get to open up our phone lines. But Mr. Mundia Hagula, good afternoon and welcome to Community Lens.
Good afternoon, and thank you for inviting me. Am I audible?
Mr. Hagula, but we should be getting his views in just a second. So as we were speaking along the lines of having to be financially literate, something came up a few days ago. Someone had sent me actually a text message all the way from the city of Livingston. They were complaining about a certain organization that has been formed to dupe people out of their monies. So what's currently happening is this organization is offering opportunities of investment. That's the way they've put it, an investment opportunity where you can send in a certain amount of money and that money would be tripled actually, within just 2 months. And quite a number of people have unfortunately fallen prey to this scam that is just going around. It's really unfortunate to get to see.
Well, yeah, I think I would concur with you on that one, because I think in this day and age and era, it is sad to see that people are still being scammed, and people are still applying for or investing their monies in schemes that don't look like they're sustainable and reliable, credible. I think over the past 2 years, we've seen the Bank of Zambia. I think they have come on board to try and warn these scheme organizations and just try to warn members of the public to desist from engaging themselves in businesses and the entrepreneurial activities that do not have that backing of the central bank.
Exactly.
And we've had a lot of them. We can't mention names, but a lot of people have been duped. But I don't know if it's maybe the high level of poverty in the country that is leading to people to be desperate. But if people are able to have such amounts of money, the 1,200, the 3,000, I feel there are other better alternatives where you can invest the
Oh,
money.
definitely. But the unfortunate thing again is how many people are literate, how many people know that there's other modes of income that can be created and generated really by them with a minimal amount. Because a lot of people that are looking to venture into business usually would want to amass so much, which shouldn't be the case. I think there's a whole lot of teaching that needs to go on, a whole lot of training in as far as financial literacy is concerned.
Exactly.
Yes. But we do have Mr. Mundia Hawula back on the line with us. Good afternoon, Mr. Mundia Hawula. Are you there? Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. Very much for the network has not been. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank
It's
you
great
for
to have you.
inviting me. The network has not been so.
Right. Well, let's
Thank
get.
you very much.
Thank you so much. Let's get straight into this discussion. I mean, we've been having fuel crises in the country for decades on end, just running a resurgent situation, really. What can be done to ensure that this does not occur any further along in the future? Hello, Ms. Agula, are you there? Hello, good afternoon. Right, we seem to have lost him yet again, but we'll definitely get his views, and he has quite a bit much to contribute towards, and hopefully the right authorities will be looking to hear from him and his perspectives on what exactly needs to be done in order for such crises not to befall us anytime in the near future as well. But we're discussing also on the issue of financial literacy. I think we can put up the slide on the screen there just to show you the message that I got, and maybe you can read it out for us, for our viewers out there. So in just a second, yes.
Well, you excuse my eyes, but yeah, this person from Livingston texted to say, "Good afternoon, Mr. Landilani. I am a Livingston resident, and we have this so-called NGO called, I want to mention the name here. These people make a lot of money of people to invest in their organization with a promise. The more you invest, the more you get huge money after 2 months. I believe they have offices across the country, including Lusaka. It's now 6 months, no pay as promised. It's a story after story. They have a refund policy, but when one demands for the refund, nothing is being done. They keep running away. In Livingston, I reported them to the police, but nothing. They seem to be highly connected. We'll send you a chat on how
Exactly.
much people believe and are being duped. And my payment I did, and
And this gentleman actually, sorry to cut you short there, but this gentleman actually went on further to send through the charts of just what these people were promising. I'm sure we'll have them on the screen in just a short while. But the idea was that you spend a certain amount of money, and within 2 months you get threefold the amount that you would have invested, which is really unfortunate when you look at the especially the poverty levels of the average Zambian out there. Do you duping people that are really in need of these monies. As you can see from the chart there, so there's various subscription amounts. An amount of 600 kwacha would be in the next 60 days, they say, would translate into 2,100 kwacha. That's over threefold the amount, 1,300 kwacha would come to 5,000, and so many of those figures really going up to 100,000 kwacha, which they say they would give back at 315,000 in just 2 months. Wow. So this for someone who's not aware of other various business ventures, they would see this as an opportunity and they would invest.
Well, I think this is the part where financial literacy has to to really come in and has to be made priority for government, which is the major stakeholder in the welfare of people in the country. I think people get excited when they see being promised profits that is over 200%, over 300%. I think even if you were to go to a bank and have you ever seen a situation whereby you probably invest into probably bonds, the bond market, and various financial services products, and you are getting about 300% profit. I mean, it's impossible, even when you go anywhere, any financial institution in the country. But we are seeing people who are less literate about financial management jumping into such predicaments, and I feel it's very, very sad. So I think there's a lot that needs to be done to ensure that our people get to know or how to identify what is right and what is wrong, exactly, what they should go for and what they shouldn't go for.
And especially that the mode of communication, mainly for most of these people that I would term as scammers, is the use of social media. So it's really important that we use social media for the right purposes. I think if we're going to get business activities going on social media, you need to be very careful and very vigilant about how you conduct that business transaction. You shouldn't go into it blind. I think it's really important, just to reiterate your words again, that you look into credible sources of income. It's really, really important that we do that as a general citizenry. This situation, unfortunately, so many people have fallen into this pitfall. And as we're speaking, actually, there's police that went over to the headquarters of this particular organization, and they're currently investigating them, and that's more reason for why we're not really getting into the nitty-gritties of it. But we will be updating you as time goes on via the news right here on Mozo Television, and just also via our social media pages.
Yeah, exactly. But I think we're still struggling to get Mr. Hagola to come and comment on the program. So I think for now, let's take a short break, and when we're back, we'll be able to communicate with them, hopefully.
Mr. Kelvin, yeah, I saw it, but yes.
Is available?
Yes.
I had to cut short because need to...
Imagine learning and earning points and rewards by doing your work with your kids at home. Your kids can play, you can play, everyone can play.
What's going on with the two of you? You've been on the phone too much lately.
Mommy, it's just homework. Let me show you.
You can assess homework on your web, or you can download the app on your mobile phone. The homework comes with unlimited educational content starting from primary to high school level. This is not for kids only. Parents, you can also play and still assess the work done by your kids. Do you even remember what 1 + 1 is upon all the work stress you had? Revise your lockdown knowledge, so download the Homework app today and earn points and rewards from the comfort of your home. The Homework, an exciting way to learn and earn. The Homework is available in Zambia.
Welcome back to this day's live broadcast of the Community Lens program, airing on channel 94 on the TopStar bouquet on Mozo television. We are also live currently on Facebook. Remember that you can catch us via the Facebook page Mozo TV and Mozo TV Africa for both Instagram as well as Twitter. Very pertinent things that we're discussing today, especially have to do with this fuel situation, which seemingly was a crisis until after just a brief moment ago, but it was something that is something that still quite a number of motorists are facing at the moment, the struggle to find a fuel to be pumped into their cars for their various locomotive purposes. And we do have an economist as well as businessman in the names of Mr. Kelvin Sanga, who's here to help us discuss this very important issue. Mr. Tsanga, good afternoon and welcome to Community Lens. Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Tsanga. Can you get us clearly? Hello, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Mr. Tsanga. Are you there? Right. We seem to be having a bit of a difficulty in as far as technical issues are concerned. Technology, as we know, it can fail us at times, but would still love to hear from you. What are your views and concerns as far as this situation to do with fuel in the country is concerned, this shortage that has been somewhat of a very big distraction in as far as getting certain programs underway is concerned. Also, financial literacy, what is your view on that? Just how important is it that each and every one of us has somewhat a very good sound knowledge on finance and just how to go about various business activities?
Well, I think getting back to the issue of fuel, I feel it's a topic that really needs a lot of discussion because where it's stemming from, like for this incident, is the protests by the truck drivers. They where they feel that the 50-50 competition with foreign companies is inhibiting them from effectively participating in this fuel business. Right. But again, one thing that needs to be noted and applauded is the decision by the head of state to actually the directive on Sunday to allow to tell these truck drivers to start distributing this important commodity which is fuel. And we saw yesterday, if you were on social media, there were trucks, I think the numerous number of trucks that were being escorted by the police and ZRA. And actually yesterday in the news we tried to get through to ZRA corporate communications manager Top CC Kalinda, and he actually confirmed to say the two institutions, that's ZRA and Zambia Police, were requested by these drivers to help them navigate the traffic from Chirundu border into Lusaka. You just know Lusaka is a very busy place. And I feel it was a great call by the president and also by the drivers to actually abide and adhere to the presidential call. And but we are hoping that probably by the end of this week there will be good supply of fuel. The president also directed the drivers to ensure that there is the association of truck drivers, tanker drivers, to ensure that there's a 50% supply of fuel in almost every filling station. So that's right. It looks like a light at the end of the tunnel for motorists and drivers.
Very true. I mean, the light is definitely shining through. But the unfortunate thing, again, is the situation in itself is not something that is new to us. I think we've faced time and again a shortage of fuel, shortages in terms of our maize produce as well, where food reserve is concerned. And so these are things that I feel with the right modalities put in place can be quashed. This should never be happening. And one of the questions that have been asked actually is, so where then are our reserves if such a thing continues to occur? What exactly is happening?
Well, I think we can't really run away from all these problems that we are having. Of course, they can be mitigated, but looking at Zambia, it's a third world nation, developing country, and these are problems that are faced in Malawi. You go to DR Congo, they rely on our maize. In several other countries, you find, especially Africa, it's a common problem, fuel shortages. But there can always be something that can be done to ensure that this is eradicated, and the warfare of people is looked into.
Exactly. Well, that's it. That's all that we did get to have for you today. Unfortunately, we could not get specialist commentary today on these various issues, but do make a date. Remember that we come on your screens as well on Thursday, where we actually delve a little deeper into these matters and come to a conclusion. We should be having various experts coming through to just explain and detail to you what exactly is obtaining on ground and what could possibly be done to ensure that such things do not become a norm in our country. Things to do with food shortage, things to do with fuel shortage as well. We have seen within the recent past, commodities of goods just skyrocket out of the blue. Something that you were getting for 10,000 10 kwacha is now worth over 60 to 100 kwacha.
It's very, very unfortunate, and our hope, I think we just hope that this should be something that should be looked into, and going forward by the end of 2021 or 2022, we see some of these prices going up, because going down, because we're having a lot of money chasing few goods, and that's not good for the economy and the welfare of the people.
Indeed. Well, on behalf of my co-host Mainga, as well as myself, Landilani Banda, thank you so much for being tuned in on today's edition of Community Lens. Do make a date again on a Thursday, and we'll be leaving you with the rest of the programming right here on Mozo Television for that refreshing television experience. Goodbye, and God bless.